Hi, it's Nicole, and we are diving back into creating with collections today. This is a year-long challenge that is going over a year. My collaborator for Volume 5 is Lisa Brooks over at Life and Layouts, and today is layout number 6. So, to get started, I am going to cut my photos apart. Originally, when I started the layout, I thought I was going to be following a sketch from Tracy Reed's blog. However, somewhere along the way, I kind of started shifting and changing some things up. But essentially, the sketch had, I want to say it was like 2.5 inch photos around the outer edge of the layout. So all of your photos on the outer margin, having that center opening for fun bits and bobs. When I was editing my photos, I had some that I couldn't edit down into an actual square. So I changed up to where the height was still that roughly 2.5 inches, and then I just kind of doubled the width, and I did leave 2 spaces open. I did contemplate using this pattern paper as a base, and ultimately I was like, no, I do not like this. There are some patterns in Tinseltime that I don't know. I just keep avoiding them. But typically, when I sit down with a layout for creating collections, I have some sort of a game plan in mind, whether it is the specific photos, an event that I'm trying to document, a specific sketch that I am drawn to, or supplies that I am either struggling to use or like a concept that I can't get out of my head. I notice that I have a lot of the phrases, a lot of the like wordy bits left over. And when I was thinking of plans, I thought, oh, I could probably take a bunch of them and almost create like a Christmas tree shape with them. Execution wise, I don't think I used as many as I thought I would when I set out with this plan. However, I really do like the end result. So hopefully you can kind of see the dry run that I'm doing here, the inspiration of kind of lining things up where it's wider at the bottom, more narrow at the top, and kind of mimicking that tree shape while also getting some of these like wordy bits used up. So I also originally had, I thought I was going to have like white space between my photos and these pattern paper mats. I did not like that while I was kind of playing around with stuff. So I ended up I think I reprinted my photos just slightly smaller, went ahead and trimmed up those pattern paper mats and pushed everything together so that there wasn't any gaps, and made basically the outer edge margin a little bit bigger so that I could add hand stitching. And then even with all the leftover like phrases and stuff, I still was not finding like the right color, or I needed more. So I went over to this border sheet that I don't think I've used anything from this yet. So I went ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut everything now. I don't love having to come back and try to cut border strips when you've already cut a couple off, because I find that there's not enough paper to hold on to. And knowing me, if I flip that paper over and I accidentally use the other side when really I wanted the borders, I only have one sheet. So went ahead and cut all of them apart. And then I grabbed the tone on tone yellow stars and the tone on tone aqua like snowflakes, kind of eyeballed the width that I wanted them, took a banner punch and notched the ends, and then I'm going to come in and just sort of start building this like wordy tree. The addition of these tiny tags, which was a cut apart sheet from the 6x6, it's basically scaled down from the 12-inch paper version. I loved these. This was such a good use of like filling in not only space to kind of build that tree shape, but it's also going to give me like a grounding element to come in later and add like details and stuff. So I'm just working my way from the top down to the bottom, trying to make sure I've got sizing and placement where I need it to be. I did bring in a ruler to try to make sure that those strips were even. I brought in 3 more of those tags down here in this like pink zone. If you guys are new here, I really enjoy like tone on tone sort of zone embellishing. So sometimes I just gravitate towards that without really even thinking about it. I went back to the sticker sheet and I found this little pink heart sticker that's going to kind of mimic the trunk of my little tree here. And then so here you can kind of see I've got the base done. I did go through and I drew some pencil lines, and this was one of those things where I kept going back and forth of whether or not I wanted to do this, because once I poke those holes, like, I'm committed, I can't go back. So I did go ahead and do some tone on tone hand stitching. This was another way to bring in like another layer of interest in dimension, and also a way to, like, if I wanted something to be a little bit wider, I could go wider with the thread to kind of, again, fill in that like tree shape. At this point, my tree is looking really short and wide, but it's fine. My journaling, I used my journal die technique. I will post the video above where you can find the tutorial for that, and basically split it into those 2 openings that I have. And if I'm going to split my journaling, I do try to pay attention when I'm typing it up to where I have either like one sentence or one thought finishing before I break it and move it to another spot, if that makes sense. I don't like to have where you need to continuously read it. So I try not to have it where, you know, the journaling in the green is leaving off in the middle of a sentence or in the middle of a thought. I try to pre-plan what I want to say and have it sort of end, and then a new thought or a new sentence pick up over on the right. Now is where I go back and forth between die cuts, stickers, everything that's left, and try to find places to add more things. I added matching speech bubbles to the green and red square. I'm going to try to tuck in some little like candy pieces in behind the words. Kind of just looking for smaller in size, and then the colors that I'm using. I did go ahead and try to use more of these enamel shapes that I keep avoiding. I felt like they made more sense in this element or this like application because it could be the sparkly bits on my tree. I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely in the part of creating with collections where I am I don't want to say I'm forcing myself to use stuff, but I am strongly encouraging myself to keep adding because I want to get this stuff used. I want to have it be on a layout instead of being in my stash. The point of creating with collections is to sort of take a collection, use it and abuse it as far as you can possibly get it, and kind of see where that takes you as far as your creativity and your personal style and stuff like that. And this is the last one that I had like made the layout and was just waiting to do the video. So now I need to get back to where I am planning and getting back into creating some layouts with creating with collections. I do try to do at least 2 or 3 kind of all in one go, because typically for me, once I start playing with this type of a kit and working with it, it will spark ideas for the next layout. And then when I move on to the next layout, I'm already thinking about the layout after that. And I tend to think a little bit differently for each of them. So right now, I'm really kind of thinking about how I'm going to plan around some of the like large frame style stickers that are just still staring at me on the sticker sheet. There's some very large die cuts that I kind of keep avoiding. So at least one of the next couple layouts is going to be probably a product focused. One will probably be a sketch focus. One will probably be photo focused. Like I said, I tend to start different jumping off points kind of based on either my mood or my end goal. I did go ahead and pull out those little sprinkles that I purchased and decided to try to tuck some of these in here and there, kind of mix them into that tree as well. I definitely am not going to try to use up that entire bottle. There are so many of them in there, and I knew that when I bought it. Like, I knew that that was just going to kind of become, leftover product, and it will go in with my enamel dots and sequins and stuff. It's a pretty good mix of basic holiday shapes. So that will probably be the only thing from this that I keep once the kit is completely killed. At this point, I'm wondering if I bothered to put a date on this layout. So the girls that helped me out to make sure that I dated my layouts, I promise nope, there's no date on it. I will go back and add the date, at least the year, because I know that this is Christmas Eve. So I need to at least put a year somewhere on here. Maybe I'll tuck some numbers into the tree or something. So with that, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Make sure to check out the link below for Lisa's video, as well as a link to the playlist for this, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.